Have you ever wondered how a car wash works? Or have you ever wondered what happens when all its parts work together? Well, today we're going to be exploring Adamstown Car Wash. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Alex. Nice to meet you. I'm fine. Let's go explore. So Alex, how does this thing work?
So when the customer pulls up, they make a wash selection based off the options on the sign. Depending which wash they select, it'll send a different signal to the computer on the car wash, and then it'll know which wash they purchased. Okay? Cool. So the signal comes from here into the PLC inside here. So here's our PLC. You can see it's made by Mitsubishi. So we purchased our wash from the pay station. It's going to send one of 4 signals to the PLC here on one of the inputs of the PLC. Depending which wash you purchase will trigger different outputs based on the computer program inside the PLC. The PLC has outputs that will go either to our soap pumps over in the equipment room or down here to our contactors that turn on each of the motors on the car wash. If you see here, we have amp clamps. Each of these clamps measures how many amps is going through this wire. Depending on the amount of amps going through the wire while the brushes are spinning, that will tell the brushes how to respond to the contour of the vehicle. If you see here, this is the contactor that will drive my right brush in. I'm faking the computer. This is the contactor that will drive my left brush in. So the computer will use 24 volts and an electromagnet to pull that in and move the brushes accordingly. If I turn this on, the computer is going to say the brushes are not at home or not where they belong for start, and it's going to run the brushes back out to the home position.
Please place car in park.
So Alex, what does that knob right there do?
This?
Yeah, that knob right there, yeah.
All right, so this is what we call a prox sensor. It's a proximity sensor. If something metal comes in front of this, it will activate one of the inputs on the computer. There's approximately 12 prox sensors on the wash. There's one here to tell when this brush is at the bottom. There's another one up top. There's one on both the sides of the brush here to know when the brush is all the way out. And then there's one here on the inside that tells when the brushes are together in the middle. Between the prox sensors, the computer, and the amp clamps, that's the gist of how it works.
What do these things right here do?
These right here are air valves. So we take compressed air from my air compressor and we route it, depending on what the computer tells these valves, we either route it to this side of the air cylinder or we let it out of this side of the air cylinder. This will drive my top brush up and down based on the amp clamps that we looked at earlier.
So Alex, what controls the speed and the direction of the machine?
So we have what's called a VFD, or variable frequency drive. This unit takes an AC input and it modifies the hertz of the input to different outputs, and that will control how fast these motors turn. It can also reverse the motors by switching the polarity between the 3-phase electric. Interesting fact about 3-phase, if you switch any 2 leads on a 3-phase motor, it reverses the direction of the motor.
So Alex, it's pretty dirty in here, so how long have you been in business?
Yeah, it's true. It's a lot of work to keep up. Actually, right here is my first dollar I ever got on January 1st, 2020. That was just coincident. It wasn't that I succeeded on opening on January 1st. That's just when we got done with everything.
So Alex, what's all that stuff up there?
So these are chemical pumps that take the soap, each respective soap, from the barrels here, and then they meter it just right, put it out into the dispensing system, and then it goes out to the car wash to use the products on the cars.
So Alex, has there been any extraordinary maintenance you had to do?
One thing that I had to do that was pretty interesting was replacing this main communications wire. There's 2 of these. One of them went bad. As you can see, there's approximately 30 conductors in here. So we had to land all these conductors on the proper spot on the terminal block, which either comes an input or an output from the PLC, depending which spot it's at in the terminal block. And then this wire goes up here through the machine, and then it comes down through here through our E-track, follows the E-track all the way to here, and then lands on this terminal block in here. And then from here, it can either go to the pumps on the inside, or to control the doors, or various different things for the machine to work.
Have you had any unique challenges starting the car wash here, Alex?
Oh, for sure, I've had lots. One that's interesting is people would pull in here, the machine would wash their car, it would be time for them to go, but since it started washing their car till it was time to go, they started watching a video on YouTube, and it's still not done. They're still watching the video. So now it's time for them to pull out, and they're just sitting here watching their video, not knowing it's time to pull out, while the customer behind them is waiting to get their car washed. So I had a programmer program this, it's called a logo controller. It's a 4 input, 4 output PLC. So I took my inputs, tied into my lights on my machine, and when the light turns green, this will cue the speaker to say, please pull forward. When the light turns red, it asks them to stop, and if they're supposed to back up, it will tell them to back up all the way. And it definitely helped with the problem.
So Alex, how did the self-serve bays work?
Well, we use 24 volts out to the bay, and then if the time output from the timer is hot, it will activate one of the solenoids in here, contactors in here, and pull this in and turn on the pumps for the high pressure pump. Or it will send 24 volts to my solenoids here, which will open and allow the soap and the air to go out to the bay.
Wait, so it's each one of those boards for
For a specific kind of soap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you have bay 1, bay 2, bay 3, bay 4.
Oh.
Yep. And then each one is
Okay.
different chemicals.
So how can you manipulate the entire machine?
So if you want to do something on the PLC, we use what's called an HMI, or a human machine interface. I can go on here and I can test any feature of the wash. So I can
Please brace car in park.
the side brushes, just by pushing that button. I can turn on the top brush. I can get the camera wet. And this again is called an HMI, or a human machine interface.
Alright, well thanks for showing us the car wash, Alex. Should we go try it out?
Let's do it. When you pull up here, make your wash selection. So make your selection first, then insert your card.
Deluxe wash. Please deposit the amount shown. Processing. Thank you for your purchase. Adamstown Car Wash.
So the biggest thing people will get wrong when they pull in here, some of the older systems had I think they called it a guide rail or a rub rail that they could drive against on the left side. Just make sure you stay centered between the reflectors as you pull in, and it'll work great. If you get off to the side too far, it'll disable the machine. We got our undercarriage there pulling in. When you trip the photo eye, it'll buzz. Now you put it in park.
Please brace car in park.
It's going to do the high pressure pass. This is especially good if you have substantial dirt build up on the vehicle, to make sure it doesn't get any excess dirt on the brushes while it's washing. Where's that other GoPro?
Which one? The third one?
The one on the top. How much are we gonna laugh if it goes tick 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 tick? That would be. So now it's putting soap on the vehicle, and now the brushes will start spinning. Just hit your wipers once so we can see. Normally we don't. Other side. Oh no, that is your wipers. My bad. You can see the top brush coming down. It's going to sense the vehicle by the amp draw on the brush. It's going to pull the brush back up, and it's going to wash the vehicle. That GoPro's waterproof, I guess.
You know. Kind of hope so now.
At this point, it better be. It's scrubbing the wheels right now with the wheel scrubbers on each side.
How does it know the wheels are on?
There's a photo eye underneath,
Oh yeah,
and it. There's an encoder on this side of the machine that tells where the machine's at on the track, and there's a photo eye that senses where the bottom of the wheel is. So it's counting the number of steps the entire time it's watching the vehicle, and on the first pass, those photo eyes sense the beginning of the wheel and the end of the wheel based on when the photo eye sees, and then it divides that in half and says right here's the center of the wheel. So then that's where it brings the brushes out to scrub the wheel based on the number of steps from the home position on the encoder wheel. I didn't hear a GoPro go flying.
I didn't either.
This might be the bigger test coming this direction, but I think it'll be fine.
I mean,
It's still spinning that way.
Oh, okay.
Now once that gets the prox sensor, it'll start driving this way and start the rinse.
Okay.
Now we'll pull through the dryer as it's running. Just wait to pull front until the door's all the way up. There you go. Now you can adjust your speed that you go out based on the time you have left on the dryer to get the best dry possible. "25 horsepower per side."
Oh, this can keep it fast.
You go that would be easy. I didn't hear the GoPro come off.
I didn't either. Hey, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? So what are some of the challenges of running a car wash in the 21st century?
One of the challenges we have is the rising cost of energy. Electric has gone up quite a bit in the last few years. So in the last 6 months, we put solar panels on all of our roof space to help offset the rising cost of energy in America.
Thank you guys for sharing your time and your car wash with us.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. Hopefully you learned something. Stop out any Thursday and take advantage of our $3 car wash.